This is sort of the ether out of which a figure hopefully will emerge. I'm Beth Van Houten. I was born in Washington, D.C. in 1945. I first came to the island, to Monhegan, in the latter half of the 70s. I'm not sure whether it was 76, 77. And I was only here for an overnight. But I think even before I set foot on the wharf, I somehow knew it was my place. My sense was when I came that the people who were here came because they liked aloneness. And I think now there's so much organized activity that a lot of people come to be a part of that rather than away from that. I came to art pretty late in life, visual art. I came to love looking at visual art and started to draw and then to paint myself, and going to art school at night and weekends because I wanted to learn how it got that way and to try to understand what made one piece good and another not, what made a very few pieces great. And I fell madly in love, especially with the stuff of paint, just the physicality of it. So it changed my life. I jumped off the corporate ship and followed my heart. Monhegan is a perfect place in which to pursue that kind of life. It's a very accepted engagement on the island. Most places on the mainland, one can't just open a studio shop and say, "Hey, come one, come all." Here, it's just a part of life, so it's easier to do that. One feels less vulnerable doing it, I think, here. It's what I've been trying to do lately for the last 2 or 3 years, pretty exclusively with the figure, which has always intrigued me. But with organic shape too, is to, using paint, try to pull a figure or pull an organic shape out of the ether, have it suggest itself and find itself without ever being totally defined, because I think at the extent you're totally defined, I don't know, maybe you're not interesting anymore. And I don't think we really can totally define anything. Sometimes I work, especially when I'm working on paper, off organic shape. But mostly, I don't want to sound pretentious about it, but mostly it's not pretty that I'm after. I don't want pretty. I don't even want, to the extent I could ever achieve it, beauty unless it's unless there's an ugly element. I think it's other people who decide whether or not you're artists. I try very hard not to use that word vis myself. I'm a painter. Because art, who knows, art is when it works. And it only works for someone else. You can think it works for you, but that's not what matters. It's a communication.